His long search for Ciri led Geralt to conclude that Uma, the ugliest man alive and the victim of a curse, was the key to finding the young woman.
Uma, the ugliest man alive. It's an acronym. Anyway, hello everyone, this is Bob and Threadbare, and welcome back to The Witcher 3. So we're going on with the main quest now, although we do have one last bit of side business we still have yet to conclude. Gotta go visit Lambert and tell him what happened over on Skellige. See? We're heading to the Nowhere Inn.
This one's still breathing.
Oh, it is. Let it.
I'll drink
Some
all
still
I had.
breathe as I toss it.
Oi, cocker!
Are you talking to me? Guess not. No exclamation mark.
Think I pissed me trousers.
So you think? Now who started this war? Order first. That's not it at all. It was the non-humans.
It's Imperial soldiers sitting across the Pontar in black plate, not dryads.
And who forged that plate? Dwarven smiths. Who paid for it? Dwarven bankers like our Vivaldi. And when the war started, the summit at Lockwood, a sorcerer's city. And among sorcerers, well, we all know there's elves in abundance.
True. Ida Emian for one, Francesca Finderbear for another. And that Yennefer of Vinderberg heard even she's one quarter elf.
Perhaps you're not talking rubbish after all.
Ah, racist conspiracies.
To pity. Thank you, Witcher.
What the hell took you?
Pretty likely Karadin lives in Novigrad, and he never severed ties with Hammond. They're actually in business together.
Learned something too. He trades in live goods on the sly. Owns a ship called the Pearl of the Coast. Runs between here and Skellige. Changed his name too, to Roland Truger, who officially is a respected Novigrad trader and philanthropist. Has a residence in Gildorf.
Damn, that's a lot.
Anything on Celise?
Well, didn't have you there to stand up for her.
All right, let's pay Karadin a visit.
Think I know how to get in. I got a plan.
If your plan doesn't include dealing with an escort of guardsmen, best revise it. Calm now. Let them start it.
You're expected. Come in.
Well, that's one way of starting it.
Make yourselves at home. He's a witcher.
Very true. Allow me to introduce my wife Letitia and my two little tots. You know who I am, and I've heard of you. You've been asking many questions about me. That always draws my attention.
What school do you come out of?
That of the cat. So few of us left.
Witchers can't have children.
But they can have wards, or take in a woman along with her children, embrace them as their own.
I could understand a witcher becoming a hired assassin, but a merchant?
Why ever not? Not one among us doesn't dream of changing our life. I simply did not stop at dreaming. They say no witcher has ever died in his bed. I aim to be the first.
Remains to be seen.
My friend needs to talk to you.
Lads, take the children and Letitia and leave us. Our guests wish to speak to me. I'm all ears.
Talk to him, Geralt. If I do, first word he says to me, I'll lose it and throttle the fucker.
Your wife know who you were?
We are thoroughly honest with one another, harbor no secrets. She prays for me each day. You know what? I think it's working.
Fucking hell.
Relax, Lambert.
I confessed all just before we pledged to marry one another. Began a new life that day, with a clean slate.
Nice place you got.
As it turned out, I've a flair for enterprise. Now I've coin enough to provide my family with the finer things in life.
With some left over for philanthropy.
Miss Marabella's institute does not scorn small donations. Neither does the city's Widows and Orphans Relief Fund, amongst others.
Remember Aiden? A witcher. Murdered in Elander. Guessing the killers were paid well.
I remember him as I remember all the others, with the deepest regret. Yet Aiden was different in a way. Contrary to rumor, we did not set out to kill him. We were forced to when he attacked us.
What's your version of this story?
Aiden had accepted a contract to lift the curse from the Duke's daughter. He took the coin, bungled the job, then left, once the girl passed on.
You lie.
We were not to kill him, we were debt collectors. He'd spent the coin already, so we demanded his swords. When he refused, tempers flared. Vienne, positioned as a sniper, lost her nerve. Hit Aiden square in the eye. Later, she devised her own version of the story. To silence her guilt, I expect.
I've heard enough.
What now?
If nothing else, you're still a slaver. And I did detect some hints of sarcasm.
Know what, Carradine? Your remorse? It's feigned. Completely dishonest. You put on a good show, but I just don't believe you.
Don't even know why we bothered with this chat. We came here to kill you.
Do what you want, Lambert. Your friend, your vengeance.
Been waiting a long time for this.
And I don't aim to die.
Dang it. Said Lambert, do what you want. Doesn't mean hit me. Oh, took his legs off.
Thanks for your help, Geralt.
You're welcome.
Want to talk about it?
No.
See you later. Someday.
So long, Lambert.
Actually, before you go, I heard you play cards. Should probably catch him.
Can we talk?
What about?
Nice to be together again, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Just missing Ciri.
Thanks for reminding me.
I had to change the subject. Heard a sentimental sob making its way up from your gut. Any idea why she's returned?
Shortest version, she's running from the wild hunt.
Damn. Going gets tough and you need help, you can count on me.
You haven't changed a lick.
That disappointment I hear?
No. Surprise, maybe. Most grow gentler with age. Seems you're growing pricklier.
Mom always said I was different.
Had some other adjectives in mind, but different'll do. Ever play Gwent?
Of course. Even tried to teach Vesemir, but turned out he's just mule-headed. Why do you ask? Up for a quick hand?
Am I? Have you crying like a baby by the time I'm through with you?
Alright. Well, looks like Lambert plays Scoia'tael, and hey, 2 decoys. Although I may not need that many against a Scoia'tael deck. And I definitely won't need rain. Anyway, let's get my spy out. Only got the 1 this time, but hey, looks like I'll have another chance to play him. Let's just go with a few relatively low and easily replaced cards. Oh, you've got a Triss Marigold. Fair enough. Alright, front row booster. Seems useful, but I've got a booster too. Ah, there you are. Good to see you, old friend. How about coming back into my service? Oh, you've only got 2 of those bandit types. Alright. Well, no, I shouldn't. I was thinking my own card there for a second, but yeah. As it is, I just had to play 1 card in order to beat him that round. And then, yep, bringing my spy out for a 3rd time. For even more cards. Still never found a second spy. Even though I've got 4 of them in my deck at this point. You know, I do have that Scorch, but screw it. I don't have to play this Scorch card. Alright, got my set of cards back. Yeah, as it is, I am trying to save the Impera Brigade. And good old Dandelion there for the final round. But, well, it seems like this is going to be the final round. Thus,
you win. Oh, can't believe I gotta give up my unique card. Better your hands than someone else's, I guess.
sweet. So, what other old pals do I have to play? Oh, I got his Triss Marigold. Oh, no other pals, I guess. That was it. I do need to complete my collection of Gwent cards, but I'm not quite done with the game. But as it is, there's really only one thing left to do now.
Got my eye on you, white one.
Anyway, that whole thing with Lambert has me thinking of,
Redanians, as long as they play and don't hit.
It's me thinking of it as like a mafia moment. Like, you never really retire from the life. Oh, there it is. Yeah, and what Geralt and Lambert did is pretty much a good example of why you never retire from the life. It's because you make a lot of enemies in that life. And even if you want to say, call it quits and go home and live the rest of your life in peace, your enemies might think you don't deserve to just leave like that. Right, so let's see about this Uma, ugliest man alive. But first, let's arrange our gear here. Sadly, while I have prepared the next level of Ursine and Cat School gear, I do not yet have enough levels to equip it. So, I guess we're sticking with Griffin.
Need to talk to you.
About?
Uma, gonna take him with me.
Gotta ask the Baron's permission. Thing is, he ain't here.
Not about to ask for anything. I'm telling you. You can try to stop me. But that'd be an error. A mortal one.
Think you got me shaking in my boots?
You sure as hell should be.
Fine. Cripple's not worth no blood. See the groom. He ought to be glad to give him up. Bugger's been eating from the feed bags. And a pleasant journey to you both.
Thank you kindly.
Hey, what do you know? A thug who doesn't want to die. Never thought I'd see one. Alright, and in case you're wondering, I'm running this way.
Geralt!
Because I've got a lot of inventory I need to clear out.
What are you selling?
I mean, seriously, look at all this stuff. Luckily, she's got a lot of spare money lying around, mostly because I've been using her to improve all of my armor, as you saw earlier. And also got some equipment that I don't really need. Don't really need that Necker trophy either, but sadly I can't mess with my currently equipped items.
Take care now.
Right, anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Getting to Uma in the stables.
I'm taking Uma.
There ain't a...
Sergeant Hartle said I could.
Bring him back though, won't you? Be awful dull without him.
Find something else to laugh at. I don't know. Catch some frogs and shove straws up their asses.
Huh? That one of your Witcher games?
Witcher version's different. Don't make me show you. Open the door. Now.
He's just sick and tired of dealing with these people, isn't he?
Hey, little guy. This here's Roach. She'll take us to Kaer Morhen. Well, come on. What the? Quit playing around. Let's go. Looks like we got company. Nilfgaardian battle mounts. What do you want?
The Emperor's displeased with you.
Then he ought to ask somebody else for help.
The Emperor does not ask anyone for anything. You will ride with us to Vitsima.
Sure about that?
Don't even try.
Fine. Lead the way.
Well, it appears that we're going to be making a stopover before we get to Kaer Morhen. Well, fair enough.
And the Third Army will sweep in from the west to take Banglin.
If I may, Your Imperial Majesty, our spies report that the garrison at Banglin consists almost wholly of mercenaries.
Bribery, then.
We stand to lose exactly no men in battle.
And we stand to lose less time. Very well. Give the orders. Then set sail.
As you wish. At once!
Your Imperial Majesty, Yennefer.
I did not have you brought here for an exchange of courtesies. Report.
No point in being rude.
As you wish, Your Majesty. Ciri. Well, this man is the key to finding her.
I give you 3 solid leads. Trails as fresh as morning dew. The aid of my spies and my court sorcerers. Yet in my daughter's stead, you bring me this monstrosity? I hope you have more to say. For your sake.
Listen, I'm looking for a needle in a haystack. A needle that at any moment can...
It's a difficult task, I know this. What of it? Listen to me. I rule the largest empire the world has ever known. I wage a war against the North, command men in tens of thousands, while at home the trade corporations and nobles seek to depose me. You cannot expect me to pity you the difficulty of your task.
I pursued those leads you gave me. Ciri first reappeared in Skellige with a mage, an elf. Yen knows more.
The Wild Hunt tracked them down, found them there. They were forced to flee to Velen.
Where they were separated. Ciri spent some time with a local warlord, a self-styled baron who...
Yes, I know my vassals.
Who helped her get to Novigrad, where Ciri crossed some of the city's underworld bosses. She had to flee. Went back to Skellige, ran into her elf companion there.
And into the Wild Hunt, again. Ciri and the elf fled, out to sea this time. Their boat returned to shore the next day, with only him on board.
The information appears of little use, though at least it seems you kept busy.
This monstrosity might well be your daughter. Its body is the product of a curse. Someone hides inside it.
Can you lift this curse?
I've done a great deal of research, made inquiries, but to lift it I would need to know the words used to cast it, and that...
Vafel Elen, Kedmil Fali. Gladiv Dorn Eptened Bandro Ithne Iacus. Dandelion told me. Ciri talked to him about it.
At last, you provide a pleasant surprise. Lady Yennefer, my question stands.
Yes. I believe I can. But I must...
The details do not interest me. Geralt, you've achieved precious little, yet admittedly more than the bumblers in my spy corps have. I give you half the promised reward. You will receive the other when you bring me Ciri.
Fine.
This audience is over. Till the next.
You'd think he would be more sympathetic. He's been the victim of a curse.
Could have used some of that famous biting wit of yours. Where'd it disappear to? I mean, you were meek as a novice at Aretusa called into the Dean's office.
I merely know when I can indulge my pride and when I must swallow it.
Ah, I see. So you show your claws to me because I'm a lowly witcher, but...
Do you really wish to do this now, Geralt? We can fight another time, in another place, where the walls have no ears.
So, how do we lift Uma's curse?
We must take him to Kaer Morhen. Oh, and Geralt, forgive me, but I'm unable to teleport you, Uma, and Roach, so...
Don't worry, we'll ride there. Never did like teleporting.
Take care of yourself.
Wait. Here, probably better if you keep it.
Of course. I'm off.
His long search for Ciri led Geralt to conclude that Uma, the ugliest man alive and the victim of a curse, was the key to finding the young woman. Geralt needed to lift the curse, so he took Uma to the home of the world's greatest specialist on dark spells, to the Witcher's fortress of Kaer Morhen.
And here we are. As soon as it finishes loading, there we go.
Whoa there, Roach.
Forktails this close to the fortress? Someone's been slacking off.
Kaer Morhen. You know, its appearance has been the same since the first game, which is, it was at the tutorial area in the first game. Started the whole adventure.
Well, look for the wind, Louis. Been away quite a while.
Too long.
And your journey, how was it?
Calm, if you don't count the forktail that flew over our heads a few miles back. Passenger got a little restless.
What have we here? Multiple deformities. Eyes, ears, nostrils, a hair lip. And is this... Now, calm down. Yennefer was right on one count. Thing sure isn't pretty.
Don't look all that nice yourself. How'd you get so dirty?
Huh? Ah, this. I was mixing some lime for the mortar. Need to patch up the walls before they crumble.
Lot of work for one person. Lambert and Eskel not willing to help? Don't see the sense in it?
No. Yennefer found more important things for them to do.
Yen's here already?
And how?
Huh. You two argue?
Geralt, I understand she's a... well, how do I put this? Emancipated, strong-willed woman. But do manners count for nothing? She teleports in, not even a nice to see you, jumps right into a, we've a curse to lift, there's this to do and that. So Eskel and Lambert get going. And she went to the guest room to rearrange things. Through the bed, off the balcony.
Shame. That was a good bed.
Said the same myself. Solid oak frame, down mattress. Triss always said she... Ah, now I see.
It's either that, or Yen really hates oak furniture. So what's Yen planning?
Wish I knew.
Mean she didn't tell you?
She told us what she needs to lift the curse, not what she plans to do with it, despite our asking.
She's gotta have a good reason.
More than one, most likely. In any case, she's set her mind on something. Needs us to stay out of her way, mostly.
So where is everyone?
Eskel's hunting forktails.
Gotta nip that infestation in the bud. And since Yennefer needs to distill some ingredients from their organs, well, like they say, 2 birds, 1 stone. Lambert's still in the keep, preparing to venture into the mountains to enrich the phylactery with elemental power.
Mm-hmm. And Yen?
Assembling a megascope. Wanted my help running around with some chirping contraption, searching for something. But I'm too old for that nonsense.
I should let her know I'm here.
If you say so, but don't go thinking she'll throw her arms around your neck.
Can we talk? How can I help you? I'm looking for Ciri. Ashen hair, scar on her cheek. Seen her? You think universals exist as real and distinct entities, or only as mental constructs? Mm-hmm. So do I. So long. Can we talk? So long.
I was trying to talk to Vesemir, but apparently he isn't available as a separate entity at the moment. But yes, I agree. Platonic solids is a silly concept that really only exists as mental constructs rather than objective ideals. I mean, any sort of object that you can consider to be an ideal can be separated using similar but not identical words. And are those similar but not identical things also their own perfect ideal existences, or... I shouldn't delve too deeply into this nonsense. So, welcome to Kaer Morhen, where you can see that this is actually a very defensible castle. There are a lot of paths that one must follow in order to actually enter the inner keep. And they pass by a lot of not-so-inner paths.
Handwriting looks familiar. Berengar's. Papers have been lying here for years. How about that? He was working on a sword. And not just any sword, judging by his notes. Torhan. How to talk to Vesemir. Berengar consulted him. Vesemir might remember how far he got.
Well, assuming that he is someone I can speak to separately at this point. But it's worth a shot. Well,
can we talk? So long.
No, guess we'll just have to deal with this later. Anyway, the thing about the first game and your trip through Kaer Morhen is that the area that you travel through in that first game is still here. It has not been reimagined. It has, at least not fully. And so while the castle itself is this very large area, far larger than it was in the first game, the first game's area is still identical, at least in layout. And that to me is just amazing. I have never really come across that before. Usually in sequel games, the areas intentionally avoid going back to old areas, so you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. Or else they just completely revamp the thing based on new technology and new developers. But in this case, they have stuck to what was there before. And I'm impressed. And incidentally, I am traveling through the region I've been discussing right now. I mean, this in particular, I recall going across this upper area here, fighting a bunch of bandits who were attacking the castle and trying to steal the trial of the grasses, herbs, and spices, so to speak. The stuff that really defines Witcher wannabes from Witchers in actuality. Man, they got a lot of repair kits around here. I mean, fair enough, they've got a lot to repair around here. Just wanted to take a moment to admire the view. And there certainly is plenty to admire. Also, I'm definitely glad that I emptied my inventory before I came here, because all of those master repair kits are pretty weighty. Oh, there's a chest I missed. Or, no, it's a crate. And it's not letting me interact with it. Okay. So I guess that crate will be forever missed. And over here we have the tutorial area from this game. This is the part that you would have run across.
The Northern Wars, Myths, Lies, and Distortions. Historical treatise by Restif de Monthalon.
Seems like it's someone taking a particularly...
Missing some pages.
We found it in the outhouse and it's missing some pages. Seems someone does not agree with that particular author's viewpoint. And it did seem to be taking a particularly negative view of the wars of northern aggression, so to speak. And yeah, that's a pendulum back down there. And as I was saying, this area in particular is where you run across to learn how to move in this game. We got to skip that part because I'm playing in a New Game Plus, and that automatically allows you, or that automatically forces you to skip the tutorial section. And it's worth mentioning that you can skip the tutorial section if you want. Normally. Alright, looks like that little pit doesn't go anywhere. Which means that you're intended to go across the top. And then you come down these staircases here. Take this ladder. And then you end the run down in this courtyard area here. Anyway, let's get back into the inner courtyard that we were at before. Just past the doors here. And actually, now that I recall, I don't think that last area I was running through is the part that was in the first game. I mean, that being said, it might have been in the first game, but not entirely. Yeah, I remember those balconies. Those were also in the intro dream sequence. Yeah, here we are inside. Sure are a lot of containers here in Kaer Morhen. Some of them have good stuff in them. And also the interior of Kaer Morhen was in the first game. I don't believe it was quite as large and extensive as the area that you're allowed to visit now, but well, there is still some overlap. And the interior has definitely been more completely reimagined than the exterior was, at least in terms of what I was describing. It looks like there's a container behind the giant distillery. If I can just get to it. I can get on top of it, but sadly, while on top of it, I cannot access it. No, no going through there. And over here we have what is left of the Witcher library. Including some books that we've never come across before, apparently. At least this one we haven't. Looks like there's a couple more bookshelves up here, but no books that we can grab off of them. And yeah, so the idea here, by the way, is that Kaer Morhen is the home of the...
Leaking again! Damn it!
Oh, hang on. What's Lambert up to?
What's this? Brewing potions?
No. Booze from potato peels.
For my welcome back feast?
Actually, more like my farewell feast. Haven't heard? Madame Sorceress has requested I fortify the phylactery with power from the Circle of Elements. Says it's essential to lifting the curse from that monstrosity of yours.
Realize that monstrosity, as you put it, might be Ciri?
Yeah, I heard.
Mind showing a bit of sympathy?
I call him like I see him. That's how I am.
Know what? Never mind. Not gonna argue with you.
Right, no time to lose. The monstrosity awaits.
Lambert.
Oh, sorry. The potential Cirilla.
Don't sound too thrilled about all this.
I'm not. You know the trek to the Circle's no walk in the park. In more ways than one.
Let me go with you.
Well, might have more spring in my step with the famous white wolf at my side. So, you ready?
Gotta take care of something. Wait for me.
Sure.
Certainly not going to go on his own, huh? But yeah, so Kaer Morhen was the former sort of current home of the School of the Wolf Witchers, which includes Geralt and everyone else that we'll see here. At least all of the Witchers that we'll see here. And the reason it's in such disrepair is because once upon a time, Kaer Morhen was attacked by, well, essentially by a noble who wanted the land and the loot. And so basically drummed up popular support for killing the Witchers by calling them monsters and mutants and all sorts of other names. And so he massacred the population, killed pretty much all of the Witchers who were there at the time, and the only survivors are the ones who were not present. And of those Witchers who survived, Vesemir is essentially the ranking member, but only because he was a sword instructor. And the thing is that the Witchers do have the capacity to create more Witchers. Like, the knowledge and equipment were not completely lost during the big battle. However, they were not motivated to continue creating Witchers. And the reason for that is because, well, creating Witchers involves taking a bunch of orphaned and cast-off boys and then abusing them for their entire childhood until then subjecting them to tortures that hopefully will turn them into underappreciated monster slayers. And so if you want to understand where Lambert is coming from, and Geralt for that matter, it's important to remember that every Witcher is a victim of abuse. Anyway, all of that aside, you may have recognized the places that we're going through now. That is because this particular tower is also part of the intro sequence. We started up here, in that very bathtub. But sadly, there's nothing else for us to do up here, at least not at the moment. And so aside from reminding us of the fact that these places exist, it's about time that we got back downstairs and, well, continued looting. Also, since this is a separate area, it does also have a separate stash. And in this case, the stash is located right by the door, just inside the main keep here. But yeah, so witchering is a dying profession, not just because the number of monsters is continually going down, because witchers and other people who are also capable of killing monsters are doing their jobs well enough to lower their populations. There's also the fact that few people have the stomach to torture children quite as much as is necessary to produce witchers. Certainly, now that the chain of abuse has been broken, these witchers... And there is a bit of confusion, I think, at least within the game, where there seems to be this impression that the law of surprise applies to every child who ever became a witcher. The whole, I can't repay you, so how about you give me the first thing that comes to you when you go back home, or the thing that you have right now that you don't know you have. Blah, 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 firstborn son. That only applied to Ciri, at least from what I can tell from my reading of the books. Ciri is the first and only person who has ever successfully been law of surprised by any witcher. And that's why she's special, because she was, in a sense, born to be a witcher, and has all of those extraordinary powers, because that's what you need to be a witcher if you're not going to, be tortured and mutated. And as such, well, as it turns out, having all of those powers sort of also marks you for having a bigger and better destiny than just monster slaying. So in a sense, you could say that witchers have been underutilized this whole time. The powers that are granted through the mutations and training process are kind of wasted on monster slaying. I mean, it's sort of what it takes, but They could be doing so much more to change the world if they weren't so used to being beaten down and disrespected and shoved into little corners, because, again, they are abuse victims.
Monstrum, or a portrayal of witchers. Somebody's notes on the first page.
Huh. But yeah, Monstrum is the book that was produced by the nobles.
Let's describe how to open a passage in the mine. Might be worth seeing what's down there.
The book produced by the nobles who wanted to ransack Kaer Morhen. And incidentally, the location of Kaer Morhen is a closely guarded secret these days, because it got ransacked that one time, and nobody who is still alive wants a repeat of that. It did happen quite a while ago.
God damn it, you piece of shit!
Uh-oh.
Oh, I found Yennefer.
Damn crystal!
You decide to blow us up?
Geralt, I'm sorry, but I'm in no mood for jests.
What's eating you?
Let me think. That was the third crystal to explode. It's been a week, and Lambert's still not done what I've asked. Vesemir spitefully insists on repairing the wall just beneath my window and starts hammering at the crack of dawn, while Eskel seems to have gone mushroom picking, not forktail hunting.
The guys. Well, they're not exactly happy with you.
Why is that?
Because you aren't willing to say what you're planning. You're treating them like pages, not including them. Us, actually, because I feel that way too.
I shall explain everything when the time is right. First, we must finish our preparations.
It helps to know what you're preparing for.
You got trust issues with us?
No. Actually, I fear you don't trust me. So I'd rather keep certain things secret, for the time being.
Pretty tortured logic.
It may seem that way now, but you'll understand in time.
Heard about the bed. Really prefer to sleep on the floor? Wouldn't recommend it. That stone can get awfully chilly.
Frankly, I prefer a chill to bedding littered with red hair.
So upset about Triss you gotta take it out on the furniture?
Would you prefer I take it out some other way? Geralt, I don't want to seem like a vindictive shrew, but that very bed is where you just happened to fuck a dear friend of mine. Yes, I know, you'd lost your memory. Whatever. Let us agree that I will refrain from scolding you, while you will stop mentioning that stupid bed. Agreed?
Agreed.
Splendid. On to more pressing matters.
Fine. What do I do?
Firstly, help Eskel and Lambert. One was supposed to get me forktail spinal fluid, the other was to fortify the phylactery with elemental power. I've yet to see anything from either of them.
All right, I'll talk to them. Anything else?
Yes. There's one other trifling matter. As you saw, my megascope's acting up, in rather spectacular fashion. I'm certain there's an energy source nearby, generating disturbances, making the crystals malfunction. We must find it and neutralize it. Quickly, I must contact someone. It's urgent.
Who you plan to contact? Or is that a secret too?
No secret at all. Ida Emian. Remember her?
How could I forget? Member of the Lodge, Elven Sage.
Exactly, a sage. As the name suggests, she should know a great deal. I'd like to ask her for advice about Uma. Satisfied?
Your sorceress friends, a sage and not so sage. They've let me down before. But if we gotta, we gotta.
If only you'd been this cautious with all of them. But no matter. Thank you for your permission.
All right. How do I find the source?
Use this Potesta Quisitor.
Potesta Quisitor? Sounds fancy. Complicated.
Yet it's ever so simple. Grasp it firmly, move it around, and the louder it squeals, the closer you are. Spare me your juvenile wit, please. Well, what are you waiting for? Ah, one more thing. Thank you, Geralt.
Really should have tried the politeness on the other guys. Oh. Well, it looks like she's not sleeping on the floor, at least.
Geralt?
Nothing new.
Thanks, Yen.
Alright then, so let's get moving. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to do, including the Potestaquisitor. I imagine that's a special item I gotta pull out. First of all, I need to get into the range of the area, which appears to be just in the middle of the Great Hall here somewhere. No, that's still locked. Also, the stash is just over here, and it looks like Uma has moved now that we've talked to Yennefer. Alright, been here. Just double checking I've done everything so far.
Yes? What is it, Wolf?
Oh, now I can talk to him.
I met with Emir.
Any crowned heads you haven't met?
A few. Hoping it stays that way.
Remember the first war with Nilfgaard? Battle of Sodden? The North, all of it, fought together. Temeria, Redania, Kedwin, Edan, and the mages were heroes. On the field first, then in ballads. Not much left of that world.
Found some of Berengar's notes. From what I made out, he was trying to forge a sword. Torhern. You were helping him.
Advising, at best. Boy never managed to forge the blade, but would never let me at the anvil. Just pestered me with questions. Wanted to do it all by himself, as always. But then the whole plan went to the devil, literally.
What do you mean?
Berengar set out to hunt a chort. The fiend had made its lair in the valley past the keep. Don't know why, but he took all his equipment with him. Maybe thought I'd tinker with his sword while he was gone. You know what he was like. At any rate, the chort turned out to be strong. Too strong. Berengar had to turn tail, and since it's hard to run with 4 stones of kit under your arm, he dropped it all. Came back red with blood. And shame. Hardly said a word, and left soon after, never to return.
I know the rest of the story. How do I get to this Chort's lair?
I knew you'd want to finish this. Easiest way is to take the river downstream, as far as you can go. But be careful. Berengar had his flaws, but he was a damn good fighter. If that Chort's still there, you could be in for a wild ride.
Alright. Guess I'll just add that to the to-do list. Also, I don't think I've ever stopped to appreciate the murals around here. Got some heroic-looking witchers doing their jobs. Slaying monsters, protecting humans, making the world a safer place. Wonder if there's any others around here. We've only got a little more time till we hit the hour mark, and oh yeah, there's another one. It appears to be a repeat, though. That's the same as the second mural I looked at. And yeah, rather than leaving you hanging, I've decided to just waste a bit more time and let the video timer run out start doing the quests around here next time. Also, there's this monster just on this table. I don't think we'll end up seeing why, because I speak with Eskel last, and that just sort of gets the plot moving. But if I didn't, then we would have a talk about what's on the table there. Oh well.